Hey guys, Kev here, and I have an update sort of video to do for you. This is the Dead Reckon Knives Ridgeback. So you guys may have seen the Ridgeback on my channel before. I did a video on the original version in titanium with a more, I guess, more traditional blade shape, more of a clip point, drop point type blade shape. And you guys seemed really interested in that knife. And I had some feedback for the Dead Reckon Knives team. And, you know, they listened to the community. I'm not saying they listened to me, but they listened to the community. And I think that's very important and something we should definitely take note of and appreciate from a U.S. OEM like that, right? Or a U.S. brand like that. So this one here, I'm going to kind of call it like a V2. It's just a different blade shape. And basically what they did was they came out with an aluminum frame. So this one is aluminum instead of titanium. So this is still an integral piece of aluminum. It's just not titanium. And what does that do? Well, it brings the weight down quite a bit, in my opinion. And I like the weight difference. It feels much better to me in aluminum. I honestly would prefer aluminum in this case. It also gives them the option to do these really cool anodizing colors on the aluminum. Aluminum is really good for poppy colors. And this purple looks amazing. I really, really dig it. And then they did a new blade shape. So this is their Warren Cliff blade shape, and I gotta tell you, when I saw this on video or in pictures and stuff, I wasn't that excited about this blade shape. But in person, it's actually quite nice. I like it a lot, and it fixes one of the big issues I had with the knife, which was the blade to handle ratio. So on the original version, the blade came to like back here somewhere, and a lot of this handle was left exposed or just left over with no blade. And that bugged me. You know, we heard from the designer and we were told that the way he designed it, he came over from the Pew Pew world, and he was kind of looking at it like a G45, where you have a you know, subcompact slide on a full-size handle. And that's kind of what he was going for. You get a full grip on the knife, but you don't necessarily need all that blade. And that was the thought process, which makes sense, honestly. But with enough feedback, they did make this update, and they made this sheep's foot blade that now fills the handle. And I think it really does make the knife look more complete to me, personally. I also want to note this one, I swapped the clip over and it works perfectly. It does not hit the frame, but it doesn't tap. So to me, that's fine. And it works. Like, it has enough tension in pocket. It works. So I think even though I don't love that it doesn't touch the frame, it works fine. And it's not tapping, so can't really complain. If you guys watch my original video, it's very cool how you flip the clip. You just remove, actually, I'll just show you real quick because it's so easy. You take a T8. All these screws are made in-house, by the way, by the team at Dead Reckon. So you literally just unscrew this guy right here, and your clip pops off. And then you unscrew this guy right here, and your filler tab comes off. And then what you can do is flip that over. So now the filler tab is on this side. Drop this screw back in. Tighten that down. And then the clip can go on this side. And that locks into place with this screw down here. And now you have the clip on the right side. Same kind of deal. Works great. I love that system. And an added benefit, because the clip does not hit the frame, when you flip it over, guess what? No mark over here. So now if I let this go, sell it, I don't have to worry about being like, oh, well, I got this lefty mark over here. You know what I mean? That's a good question. Will I sell it? I picked this up at Blade Show. The guys there, it was pretty interesting. They came to Blade Show to, I just noticed one little thing, but they came to Blade Show to walk around and just kind of show people the knife and whatever. But they ended up getting a table, which is really cool. And they had enough knives with them that it kind of made it worth it, which I think is awesome. And they wanted me to check this knife out. They were going to let me take this knife to review and then send back, which I totally appreciate. The guys over at Dead Reckon are very, very cool. I really appreciate them. But I handled it, and I was like, damn, I really like this. So I'll just buy it. And then, you know, that way I own the knife. I can carry it, use it without really worrying too much about, you know, it's a review knife and all that stuff. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is, right? This was $335 in aluminum, which is pretty nice because the titanium version's $450. And I honestly like this version better because of the weight. So you actually get a little lighter knife, just as beautiful in my opinion, and you save $120. But if you still want titanium, they have that, no worries. Also, I want to note that this is in 3V blade steel. So they now offer these in 3V and I believe Magna Cut. And I think they also were doing S45 originally. Was that what it was? I think it was S45 my first one was. And then here you go, grade 5 titanium, or you have the 7075 T6 aluminum. Purple ano on this. The finish, I don't know exactly what that means. SBNI. That might be the type of balls they use to blast it, or I don't know. Oh, that's the blade finish. So it's some kind of coating, something nickel coating. I don't know. And then there's your assembled by and your inspected by, and there's a Ridgeback model number. How about that shit right there? You got blade style 1, 2, 3, and then you have body style 1, 2, 3. So they're definitely thinking up more options. I did get to see a rendering of a third version that's coming out, and holy shnikes, is it cool. There's like these really cool pass-through cuts here that kind of mimic the way you would see it on a slide, on a pew-pew. And the blade shape was more traditional, was gorgeous. So I'm really excited to check that out. Can't wait. Yeah, so other than the obvious and awesome updates that they did, right, switching to aluminum, or also offering aluminum, and also offering a Wharncliffe blade, which, by the way, still really, really comfortable in the hand, right? I would say that either I got used to the action from my first one, or they got better at making these, because I have not failed this one once. Where I remember on the first one, I would occasionally like get caught on the pivot, because the pivot, if you touch the pivot, it actually moves with the blade. So you can lock the blade up by just accidentally touching the pivot. But for some reason, I just don't do that anymore. It's like I just learned where to put my fingers, and now it's fine no matter what. So, you know, there's that. I did handle a few of these at the show, and this is, I would say, one of the weaker ones in terms of the spring or the detent, however they do the detent. I do wish this one had a stronger spring or detent. You know, I can shake it out real easy, and I can fail it real easy. But I did handle a couple on the table that felt stiffer, so I think it's just, you know, it just so happens this one's a little lighter. Is it bad? No. I think for a button lock, it's still very good. I mean, I can flip it no problem, especially if I'm not sitting down like this from, you know, just normal fidgeting. It's good. But I do need my, you know, stronger flicky shoes on when using this. So if you're somebody who just wants to have the knife pop right out, you know, might not be for you, because you do have to, you know, put a little bit of effort into it. But I still think it's great. The thumb flick is the best part of the knife. I mean, when you hear that thing crack out of there, it's really nice. You have the flipper tab right here. You can push button or light switch. And then you have the reverse flick. And this is where I want to give a little bit of feedback to the guys over there. I think the updates are phenomenal. I think we definitely made some awesome improvements, added some really cool features that people can opt into or not, right? But there are some things that I would like to still see updated if possible. Now, one thing I want to note, if you're not aware, is the way this knife locks up. It has this beautiful... Watch my first video. I explained it a little bit. You see that notch right there? The blade just like clicks into that. So when you open this knife, you get a really satisfying click, and you're not failing this, okay? So don't worry about that kind of stuff when it comes to this, just because it's a button lock. You know what I mean? There's no play. There's no rock or anything. You just get a very satisfying click there, right? Now, some of the things I would like to see. One, I would like to see the stronger spring or D10 or whatever it is that causes it. I would like it to be a little stronger, just so that I could pull this and not fail it, or at least have a much less of a chance. And again, if you pull it, it's fine. The flicks are good, but again, could be a little stronger, just a little feedback. But again, I did handle some at the show that were dialed in perfectly. So just, you know, take that for what it's worth. Okay, the other thing, this is the more important one, I think. The shape of the hole, I think, is causing some issues when flicking. So I don't know if anybody else notices this when if they have one of these and they flick it, your finger gets caught in the hole. So you're trying to flick and your finger gets caught in there, and it's right, it's not wanting to come out of the hole. So you have to put your finger on the very edge of the hole, or you have to kind of flick and release. You flick and you pull your finger out. Can you get used to that? Yep, you can get used to that. And then it flicks no problem, right? Or you can put your finger like at the bottom of the hole here, kind of just get that edge of the hole and flick, and it's fine, right? But the reason that's happening is because the hole isn't long enough, right? So if it was long enough, my finger would travel through, and then it would want to come out here, right? This is the same problem we had on our original version of the growler. Anyway, so when you flick it, it wants to catch your finger. So if they make the hole a little longer so that your finger can escape, I bet you the flicks would be so much better on this. And maybe it does depend on the finger. So maybe my finger is just bigger than others, or smaller, it's fitting in there more. I don't know. But I think if it was a little bit, if that hole extended down a little bit more, right, then I think your finger would have room to escape. And then the flicks would become even better. And it's already good. You know what I mean? But if they're going to update the blade shape in the future, maybe they, you know, if they're doing a third one, maybe they could test some different holes, so to speak. So a little bit of a stronger spring, and then a little bit of an update to the hole. And I think this thing would be absolutely perfect. And then, you know, I'd love to see maybe a mini version at some point. Stuff like that. But they really got this thing dialed in. They got the price point knocked out. $350 or $330 in aluminum. $450 in titanium. USA made. Button lock with lockup. You know, very solid. I love it. Oh, one other thing is, you know, some people take issue with the fact that they don't let you disassemble the knife. I could see that being an issue. The way they built it, though, you don't really need to. You just blow it out, clean it out. But I think that for the most part, they just want to handle the warranty stuff. Because it's a different type of pivot system and everything, and then you have the button. It's just a lot going into it. It's not like just a frame lock where most people have done it before. So I think it's more caution than anything. These guys are fantastic. So I don't think you need to worry about anything like that. If you have a warranty issue, hit them up. They'll take care of you. You know, they can, if they see this, hopefully they can explain that part better, the warranty situation, the voiding warranty situation, because I know some people had questions on that, and I'd love to hear their response to it. But again, if you ever have issues, they're going to be there to take care of you. Yeah, I think it's more of a it's very unique thing versus them wanting to restrict people, you know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts on this. I'm really glad I got to check it out. I think earlier I mentioned, way back, I mentioned the question, would I keep this? And I don't think ultimately I will, just because it's a little bit bigger and beefier and like heavier duty than what I usually carry, if that makes sense. You know, like I like knives like this size. You know, small, slim, stuff like that. And so it's just not necessarily my style. That doesn't mean I can't appreciate the shit out of this, and I do. But I also loved it enough at the show to pick it up myself. I paid $330, and I don't regret it. So let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate their updates, and can't wait to see what comes in the future from Dead Reckin' Knives. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll catch you later. Peace.